I have got a lightweight piece of kit. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a mountain climber, it doesn't matter if you're a hill walker, whether you're just walking your dog, you could carry this lightweight piece of bushcraft, camping, climbing, canoeing, kayaking kit with you all the time, right? It's ultra lightweight, it's cheap, and it is incredibly useful. Okay, now I can actually fit it in my wallet, so I can carry it with me as my EDC. I can always have it with me. Okay, so are you interested? It's a little bit soft. That's going to taste delicious. Oh my god, they're horrible. Just that, you know, subtle taste of hairspray. Oh, amazing. I'll wake you up in the morning. Okay, so here as well, you see these seeds? This is Alexander. So if you grind these up like peppercorns, you end up with a kind of fragrant peppercorn. So it's like peppercorn and lavender. Really quite a nice flavour, to be honest. But collect a bunch of it up, stick it in a peppermill grinder, and you will find it everywhere this time of year. Got thistle tops that you can collect up for your tinder kit. You know, proper hedgerow foraging at the moment. There's some fireweed or bay willow herb here, and once that starts to blossom, you'll end up with the really fluffy bits. And this is just down a old farmer's track. There's going to be mugwort down here as well, which is probably one of my favourite ones at the moment. There you go. Right, so this here is mugwort. You can tell by the tattered leaves, red stems. You pick these, and those smell amazing. So very lavendery, perfumey type scent to it, but it is also will keep bugs away because of the smell of it. Where it's like a, I don't know, it must be sort of acidic-y type smell. Right, so the reason I'm out here today is because I've been tagged in a video, which is a leave no trace video. I was tagged by Step Away from the Screens, and it was Dan from Camplife Bushcraft who started the tag off. So this is something that everyone can kind of get behind, so it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the wilderness or at your local park. It's definitely something that we can all Preston, leave it. We can all relate to, yeah? So this is a little farm track. People come down here, dump all their rubbish, because at the moment, because of the COVID-19 thing, the dumps have been closed. What a drama, the dumps have been closed, right? But that means the queue for the dump, now they have opened again, is a little bit longer, and you might have to wait. But it's a lot easier just to dump your crap in the middle of nowhere, because it will save you queuing up. And this is the thing that I really struggle with. It's that mentality of I can drop litter wherever I want and I can do whatever I want. It's just so incredibly selfish, and I can't. I can always play devil's advocate, right? And I can always put my feet in other people's shoes and relate to what they're going through or what's happening, but I cannot relate to anyone who throws litter everywhere. It's beyond me. Yeah, rather than just carry it a few hundred meters and put it in a dustbin, or put it in your pocket and wait till you see a dustbin. I just don't understand that mentality. Now, is it not being taught in schools anymore? Are parents not passing it on to the younger generation? Are the older generation just not bothered? It's really bizarre. And you consider things like Blue Planet, where everyone was going crazy about plastic straws and we need to make less of an impact. And as soon as people, because I live on the coast, I would go down the beach today, but it's a warm day and it would be mental down there. I don't really fancy getting COVID for the sake of making a video. I considered going down there later on tonight, but I know how much rubbish will just be thrown in the sea. Yeah, it's painful, really painful. So I have got, right, not a solution to it all. Really, you're never going to find a solution for stupid people. You know, we can mitigate against stupidity, and we can only move as fast as our slowest person. There you go, there's Mr. Preston back on his lead after having his 3mm all over haircut. He was starting to look really nice and fluffy, but it's just too hot. His fur is so thick, and this time of year, where he spends so much time running through the woods, grass seeds, ticks, they're just impossible to find on him. So a really short cut like that, you can sort him out. You don't want to put grass seed in his ear or in his paw or in his eye or something, so just a bit easier on everyone. Right, sit. Preston, sit. Good boy. Hawthorn berries. So hawthorn are like mini apples, like mini soft apples with a big pip in the middle. They kind of chew off the outside and spit the pip out. Now what you can do is mash them up, take all the pips out, and you can add a bit of sugar to them and then dry them out in the oven and make fruit leathers. So like, you know, little bars of food to eat. I think people can even brew them as well, but they're all coming in at the moment. So, you know, if that is your thing, there is loads of recipes out there. Slow children playing. I thought children had a right to play no matter what their cognitive capacity was. Very strange sign. I've got some beans in my pocket if anyone's wondering. So there's an old boy near me who sells stuff from his allotment. It was 50p for a pack of beans. I thought I'll have some of that. Okay. Let's do this. Right, so a lightweight piece of camping equipment, right, that every outdoor person should carry, fits in your wallet, right, and that thing is so many hands, a bag, right. This is a biodegradable food bag, but obviously that's going to be better for the environment. But if you always got a bag on you, if you do see some rubbish, you can go, actually, I can pick it up. I can be the better person and I can make this place nicer for everybody else. So as I'm walking Preston today, if I see anything, I'm picking it up. And the Centre of Outdoor Ethics, right, have a website, and they have got a 7-point plan for leaving no trace. Okay, so I'll go through their 7 points and say my thoughts on each point of it. Okay, number 1, plan ahead. Right, now, so plan ahead, it doesn't mean rock up at Tesco's at 8 o'clock at night, buy yourself a festival tent, a case of beer with 20 of your mates, and then go and jump in the local woodland. Yeah, so it's about thinking about what you're taking with you. So you can plan your shopping, you need to know exactly what you're cooking. So if you do go to Tesco's, when you bring it back, do you need a whole bag of potatoes if it's just you and your friend? No. So undo that bag of potatoes and only take out what you need, because then you're not going to have to cook them all, and you're not going to have to dump the food that's left over in the woods. Yeah, if you're going to take out a steak or something like that, you could wrap it in greaseproof paper, so you don't have to take the plastic out into the woods. You know, just simple stuff like that. It's right, I can hear the wind farm, it just sounds like there's a car pulling up behind me. So you're not having to take plastics out into the woods. Having to think about what you're going to take, how much you're going to carry, and how much you don't need. You know? Yeah, so it's pretty simple, straightforward stuff. You know? Like, would you take anything bottled or glass into the woods? I personally wouldn't. Yeah, because it gets broken, and what's going to happen to it? You know, a dog could stand on it, a kid could pick it up, it could cause a fire on a sunny day. So glass and outdoors, you know, as recyclable and good glass is. So yeah, so think about what you're taking and what food you're taking, how many people are going. Okay, so if on your planning stage you've got 20 odd people, you may be better to book into a campsite, because there's facilities there for them. You don't want 20 people on a little tiny half an acre of woodland, because you're just going to trash it. You know, just making space to put up tents and hammocks and stuff. So it's that being considerate and thinking about it. You know, even if you have got permission to be there, you know, why try and ruin a resource? Number 2. Travel on a durable surface, right, is one of their big things, okay, on their 7-point plan. So if you were hiking in the Lake District, if enough people start taking random paths, that's going to cause erosion, and then erosion is going to wear away the grass. Then it's going to rain, you'll end up with a big strip of mud. Everybody avoids the mud, walks to the side of the mud, and then the paths get wider and wider and wider and wider. And then, is that leaving no trace? No, to be honest, the best thing to do is have a very good pair of waterproof walking boots, and when you see water, okay, be careful going through it, you know, check your depth and stuff, but you're better off to just plough through it rather than going off the path. Yeah, so stick to the path where possible. Yeah, so stick to, you know, footpaths and made paths. Just makes more sense. Number 3, dispose of waste properly. Okay, so we've spoken about what waste we're going to take with us and what stuff. So we're going to take our carrier bag with us, granted, yeah. We're not going to bother taking any glass. We're going to take as minimal plastic stuff as possible, because with the best will in the world, even if you take packets of crisps and Mars bars, those little wrappers can blow away. So it's being really mindful about reducing that kind of plastic consumption. And we got a lot of double wrap stuff as well. So if you want to buy a packet of penguins, you've got 7 individually wrapped penguins, which is wrapped in one big packet, you know, so you can dump that packet straight away. Just less to carry, less to blow away, less chance of leaving stuff behind. And then we get to the tricky one of human waste. Now, human waste, no one wants to see your poo, right? No one has got any interest in your poo, not at all, okay? So bury it is the best bet, okay? Depending where you are, obviously. So if you're going to dig a cat hole and poop in it, which is fair, don't bother me, you can do that, you know. Obviously take a trowel with you. Be expecting to dig a hole to have a dump. Yeah? Be expecting it. So that goes part of your planning, doesn't it? So you need to be taking your toilet paper, a trowel, maybe a plastic bag if you want to take your toilet paper out, or a lighter, but keep it all in the same bag. That makes a bit more sense, doesn't it, guys? So I'm trying to avoid stinging nettles as I walk through here because I've got shorts on. Come, Biffy. So that goes down to your planning. Ah, stinging nettle. Okay, should have planned to not wear shorts, but there you go. So that's all part of your planning, is the kit you're taking. So make sure you got your toilet paper, anti-bac, a shovel, and a lighter or a plastic bag. Preston, no. Then, so burn paper where possible. So if you're somewhere that's really, really dry, setting fire to toilet paper, probably not a great idea. You know, usually in the UK, you're not likely to burn a forest down, but if you're in a pine woodland or something, just be very, very careful. So, other than someone stumbling across your poo, yeah, if you're in the wilderness and you're regularly pooing in the same spot, it's also going to attract animals. So if you can keep those smells to a minimum, you're not going to attract any animals that you don't want around. And you know, that's from insects and flies to bears and bigger game. Same with having a pee. If you pour some water down every time you have a pee, that's going to erase your mark on the land and be harder scent to follow. The other thing that a lot of people will miss out on with your waste is, what do you do with dirty water? So if you're going to wash up your kit, are you going to wash it up in a stream? If you are, you can rinse it. So if you say you made porridge in the morning, you can rinse your porridge out in the stream, because that's not going to hurt any fish. But if you start adding soap to it because you want to get the bacon grease off your saucepan, then maybe you need to rethink. So you'd have to take a pot of water, heat it up, and then take that about 200 metres away from the water source, because the soaps and stuff can leach into the water supply and cause problems. Same with going to the toilet, you know, minimum of 100 metres if you're having a pee, 200 metres if you're having a number two. So really need to protect water sources. And then sometimes if you're in a canyon where you're right next to a water source, you can't bury it. You've got to take it out with you, or you know, or don't wash up. You know, stick your frying pan in a plastic bag and wash it up when you get home, or save it for the next night. Number 4 is leave it as you found it. Leave as you found it. I don't like that saying. I prefer leave it better than you found it. You know, so if there is any extra rubbish that's been left there by someone else, you pick that up as well. You know, be respectful of the trees, don't go hacking everything down for no good reason. You know, if you're going to completely strip a spruce tree just to make a shelter as a demonstration, not even going to stay in it, yeah, maybe not bother. Yeah. So leave it as you found it. Take everything out with you, plus a bit more. So don't go chopping down loads of trees just for fun. There's an interesting one. So squirrely leaves like that can only mean one thing. That is horseradish. You can smell it straight away. But if you have landowner's permission, you can dig it up, get the root, and then grind it over your Sunday roast dinner. Absolutely amazing stuff. And when you get it fresh, jeez, it blows your head off. Really, really strong. Okay. Oh, I can spy a Red Bull can. Right, get my bag out. 5 is minimising the impact of your fire. So, first of all, do you even need a fire? Now, if you're hiking, you can have snacks, you can cold soak, in the summer like this, it's, you know, having something cold soaked is actually probably easier to do. Can you use gas? Can you use a Trangia? Can you even use a twig stove? You know, it's going to save having a big campfire, because they're not the most economical resource wise. Okay, so that's number one. Do you need a fire? Then how big do you need your fire? If it's in the winter and you want a nice big fire to keep you warm, then yeah, fill your boots, have a nice big fire, but make sure you tidy it up. And so what I generally do, I will put on a load of wood at the beginning of the night, make myself a bed of embers, and then just add little logs to it through the night and let it die down. And then before I go to bed, I'll generally put one big log onto the fire, and then that will burn down slowly through the night, and then I might have a few embers in the fire to get the fire going again in the morning. So, you know, especially in the winter, it will just sit and smoulder all night and may keep your fire alight. And it just gives you, keeps the ground warm, helps the fire. Unless it's peeing with rain, then you're not going to bother. You have a little fire in the morning, just enough to boil your coffee or fry your bacon, eggs, or whatever you're cooking. If you're cooking, but you could keep that simple. You could just have porridge for the morning, or just have some cereal bars. Do you really need to relight that fire? Because if you're only there for one night and you start a massive fire, you can't leave until that fire is out. So you're going to leave a big pile of half burnt logs after you've thrown water all over it. You know, even if you picked up every bit of litter, you're not going to carry out half burnt logs, are you? So what I generally do is dig a little fire pit. I light my fire in the fire pit, and then I can fill the fire in. And I don't put the big logs. A lot of people put logs surround. I can't see the point. Unless the logs are wet and you're trying to dry them out. But don't leave them around there and think, oh yeah, I'll use them next time. And I don't put stones around the fire either to make a fire circle. Now, if you're in a pine woodland, yeah, worth doing, but you're better off scraping it back as far as you can so the needles don't catch fire. So, but putting stones around a fire, usually people take them out of the stream and then they explode. So I'm not a fan of putting rocks around a fire, to be honest. And even in wet weather, little cracks freeze and thaw can put little cracks in a rock. You light your fire, rocks get hot, bang, you've suddenly got a load of hot rocks in your face. So what other impacts has our fire got? Obviously there's the risk of it getting out of control if it's too big. But also, where are we going to get the wood from? Are we going to start sawing down trees? No, because even if it's dead standing is still a habitat for, you know, bugs and stuff. So woodpeckers love a bit of dead standing because it's all full up with woodworm and beetles and all sorts. You know, wood lice underneath the bark. So it's a whole habitat, dead standing. So pick up dead fall if there is enough around and use that. You know? Pretty straightforward stuff, guys. Number 6 is respect wildlife. So if you're leaving loads of rubbish, wildlife are gonna want to eat it and snuffle around in it and shred it all up. So if you're not being, you know, I've been in woodlands before where people haven't looked after their food and a mouse has got into their bag and trashed all their food because they didn't hang it up in a tree, or it's chewed through their tent, or chewed through an expensive bag because they've got, you know, unwrapped food, you know, like a half-open bag of crisps or half-open bag of Preston, what are you doing? So it's being respectful of wildlife. So when you take your slingshot to the woods thinking, I'm going to catch dinner, you better know you're going to catch dinner, right? You don't want to just be injuring stuff. Biffy, Preston, go. You don't just want to injure something and then leave it to fly off into the woods and die, because that is pretty cruel. Same with air rifles and air pistols. Now, it tends to be popular with the outdoor community, but if you're taking an air rifle to a woods without permission, you can get in a lot of trouble. So at the end of the day, it's still a weapon, and it isn't going to stop very soon unless it hits a tree or lands in a pram. Yeah, so have a bit of common sense, guys. You know, if you're vermin hunting, shooting rats and pigeons, then with landowner's permission, then that's another thing, isn't it? Yeah, hopefully you'll kill it and it won't have to suffer. But if you think you're going to be, you know, Mr. Extreme Hunter, I'm going to shoot loads of pigeons and it's going to feed me, and I haven't got a bloody clue what I'm doing, maybe have a little go on a practice range first. Try shooting a few cans in your back garden before you start shooting at wild targets, because it's a whole different ball game. And finally, number 7, be considerate of other users. So if you think, if you're using a camp, someone else may want to camp there the next night. If you leave it in a shit tip, obviously they're not going to enjoy it as much as you did. The same way as if you've rocked up and someone left beer cans everywhere, you know. So again, pretty standard stuff, not really rocket surgery. But then you've got the country code, you know, shutting gates, keeping your dog on a lead around sheep, you know, picking up dog mess. Come on, Biff. Yeah, just generally don't be a knobhead, as Nobby said in his video, which resonates really, really well, because if you think, oh, that's a bit of a knobhead thing to do, don't do it. Preston, come here. Preston, some water. You know, you want more? Do you mind? Well, Preston, nobody wants to look at your bum hole. Sorry, guys. Preston, back off. Come on, off. Plan ahead. Travel on paths. Manage your waste properly. Leave things better than you find them. Keep your fire nice and small. Respect wildlife, and be considerate to other people. So be considerate to other people is all of the above, to be honest, because you don't want to leave a mess for other people to find, do you? So these are just my few ramblings and thoughts on it. If you've got any other ideas, then stick them down in the comments, because it was always interesting to hear what you guys think. But this stuff will cover you whether you're out in the middle of the wilderness or in your local park. So it's more of a being a bit mindful of what you're doing. Right, so I'm supposed to nominate 3 people, and I've got to nominate people who haven't done the tag yet, which is difficult. So I want to nominate, like we did outdoors, because I nominated him on the mental health one, and he came up with a corking video for that. So and where he lives and camps, it's a good area to talk about Leave No Trace. So I'd like to nominate Bushcraft Chris. Very new channel, but he's starting to get interested in bushcraft, and he did me a shout out for the 5x friction for my 5,000 subscriber giveaway, which he was the only entrant. So well done, Chris, you won. And I also asked Matt Tightwad if he wanted to be nominated in this tag for Leave No Trace and Don't litter behind and don't be a knobhead, and he didn't. What he did want to be nominated for, because he kind of missed out on it, was the Show Us Your Steak men's mental health video. So if we give Mac Tightwad a belated Show Us Your Steak men's mental health video, because he's obviously got something to say. So if we give him a belated invite to that, that's going to be my 3. And if Ed wants to also talk about Leave No Trace, then he can fill his boots. Yeah, but the mental health tag that was started off by Hayes Outdoors, the Show Us Your Steak challenge, got massive. So it'd be good to get that, you know, that little ball rolling again. If it can think of anyone who hasn't done it yet. So let's get that ball rolling again. So anyone who gets this needs to try and tag another 3 people, and keep it nice and simple. Preston, get out of the field, you knobhead. Okay, so if you stumbled across this channel and you like what you see, you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and if you're really a glutton for punishment, click that bell notification so you can get informed when I do a new video. So I'm going to try and do more videos. Preston, you're an idiot.